Well, for the record, for the 10th time, I'm not an Aghounzadeh. That Farahzad, Ayatollah Farahzad, is not my father. It's just a dude that happened to have that last name.
Oh, no, you need a microphone, you know.
Truly, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love Blanch.
چقدر از هم دیگه ما دور شدیم با شکسته های هم جور شدیم
I love you all. I am so proud of you. I am proud of being Iranian because you make me feel proud of being Iranian. Thank you for your love and support.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your host, Jian.
I don't think we have to do anything else. This is just Persians in a room dancing. Merci, merci. Welcome to Rook Live 4. Thank you so much. Thank you. Merci. خوش آمدید. Sad sal be in sal ha. It's really wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What a thrill. What a wonderful. I'm honored with these folks who are here. It is. It's 22 minutes after we were supposed to start. I actually wrote something today without ChatGPT. Once in a while still, right? Would you like to hear it? Something I wrote? I usually start with an opening essay. Would you like to hear one? Yeah? Because it's... The science of being late. Don't you ever negate the science of being late. In the preparation for Rook Live 4, we have been strategizing about what to do. And for weeks, my team and I have been agonizing, too. Oh, not about the lineup, not about the tech, not even about how far we should keep the zany Dang Show crew away from dear Shohreh Aghdashloo. No, the real crisis, the existential crisis. The question has been, what time do we start this show? Not officially, we know what a time we say it starts, but we have those kinds of smarts. But what time does it actually need to begin so that you people, you beautiful, unpunctual, wonderfully chaotic Persians would actually be here? It's a question we hold dear. Would 7 p.m. be too ambitious? Would 8 p.m. be surreptitious? Should we just surrender and write shab on the invitation, like some kind of vague Persian sunset ritualization? You see, this is what it means to organize an event for Iranians. You aren't choosing a start time as much as you are forecasting human behavior. It's a science, it's a delicate, invisible algorithm that only Persians understand. Don't you ever negate the science of being late. Because we Iranians, we don't do time. Oh, we acknowledge it as a practical standard. We know clocks exist. We can even buy really expensive ones. But adhering to time, that's another matter entirely. We are not just late. We are strategically late. We are artistically late. Late in a way that seems uncoordinated, and yet it is somehow eerily precisely calibrated. We are not alone in this, of course. The Italians have La Dolce Vita. The Greeks are also in line. The Caribbeans have island time. The Spanish have mañana. But none of them do it with the sheer reckless confidence that we do. Don't you ever negate the science of being late. Of course, I do not have this understanding because I grew up in the diaspora. Oh, I am great at being late, but I lack the antenna, the instinct, the silent inherited knowledge that some OG Persians seem to have, the ability to determine the exact minute, exactly how late to be. Case in point, Gugush and me. 2 weeks ago, I went to see Gugush. Not at someone's house, not in a mehmooni, but in an arena, sitting in the front row with Mazia Falahi. This was an arena, a massive high-budget concert in a venue with timing is everything, where even a 5-minute delay can mean tens of thousands of dollars in overtime fees. Baba Kamini was backstage thinking, bet him to get please. The ticket said 8 p.m. And by then, the place was mostly empty. And yet, nobody panicked. Nobody rushed in. Nobody checked their watch and muttered, "Shurushut." No, everyone just knew this is what Persians can do. And sure enough, exactly 38 minutes late, the place was full, like it was supposed to be at 8. How? Who decided this? Where is the master spreadsheet? How does every Persian instinctively know when to arrive? Where is the manual for the others that want to survive? It is impossible to overstate the science of being late. And this is the profound point. It's not just concerts, it's everything. Persian weddings, if the invitation says 7 p.m., you do not show up at 7 p.m. That is rookie behavior. You will arrive to find only the waitstaff, a couple of confused relatives looking for the bathroom, and an uncle no one invited. The arus is still in makeup. The groom is still in traffic. The DJ is at home finishing his kebab. Dinner, midnight. Minimum. Maybe 1 a.m. Who's counting between us and them? And then, of course, the Persian dinner party. A Westerner will say, come over at 7, and mean it. By 7:03, they're peering out the window, worried you've been in an accident. A Persian will say, biyo 7. And that means 7 is a concept. It's not a commitment. If you show up before 8, you are mentally unwell. The host will answer the door in a bathrobe with wet hair and look at you like you just arrived unannounced. Shoma alon residin. And yet somehow this all works, because for Persians, time is not a rigid construct. Time is a mood. It is elastic. The Germans say 7 p.m. and mean 6:55, sharp. The Brits say 7 p.m. and mean 7 p.m. precisely. Don't carp. Persians say 7 p.m. and mean at some point in the unfolding of the universe. Because we do not view time as an oppressive force to be obeyed. And maybe this is why we are the way we are. Maybe deep down, we know that once we get together, we don't want it to end. Maybe that's the message we want to send. Maybe lateness is just an excuse to make the night last more. Maybe despite all our drama, trauma, and chaos, we savor time as something we adore. Or maybe, just maybe, if we ever actually started anything on time, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. So, my friends, welcome. You made it, eventually. And don't you ever negate the science of being late. Let's go. This is Rook Live 4 in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada. Let's make this fun. This is Rook, episode 359. Hi there, and welcome to episode 359 of Rook. I'm Jian Gomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto. Salam Dustan Aziz Durud Bashama. Hope you are doing well wherever you are tuning in from around the world. We are live at the City Playhouse Theatre in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, in front of a sold-out crowd. And what a show we have ahead of us. There they are. What a show we have ahead of us. Siamak Mehr, Ghazal Akhounzadeh, Anahita Nayebi, Fardad Farahzad, Dang Show, and Shohreh Aghdashloo are all here. And on stage all night, for the first time, we haven't done this before, DJ Blanch Echo, thank you for being here. Safide June. How are you feeling? She speaks in DJEs. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Blanch Echo. Let me remind you here in the live audience that this is actually a recording going out around the world as our weekly podcast, just that there's more people and better hair in this case and a lot of BMWs in a parking lot. And so we are maintaining the same structure of what we do on our weekly show. If you tune into Rook regularly, you would know what we do. That is, I usually do an opening essay, and then later we have a long-form interview and performances. One of the things that we often do on the show is something we call the Rook Roundup. It's the way we start, and it's a roundup of the news of the week, what's happening both in the Iranian diaspora, sometimes inside Iran, what's happening in our communities, and what's happening in general in the world from our perspective. And we have regulars who are part of this roundup, a couple who you'll probably recognize. So for our first feature on tonight's show, let's get to a roundup, and let me introduce you to a person who will be familiar if you are a regular listener to the Rook podcast. She is a consummate professional, a deeply passionate person about the Iranian community, our collective culture, and the plight of Iranians around the world, and a former president of the Iranian Students Association at York University. She is joined by a prominent reporter, a host, a documentary filmmaker who's been working as a correspondent at Iran International TV in Toronto since 2020. Please welcome to the stage Smart, Pegah, Ganji, and Mahsa Mortazavi. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to have you here. Set your microphone there, Smart Pegah.
I didn't realize I was so short.
or the microphone is quite tall. Just pull it down. There you go.
There we go.
Mahsa, nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It's good to, well, it's not, you know, there's always politics involved when we have a journalist on, and sometimes from from Iran International. Politics.
Why do you laugh?
Well, I laugh because listen, first of all, here's the official disclaimer. Anyone we've ever had on the show, from comedians to musicians to fashion designers, whatever, there's always Iranians who are going to carp about it. But whenever we bring journalists on, our factions become apparent. And you were actually telling me before the show that sometimes people don't even want to do an interview with you, because they're afraid. They're afraid to be near you.
Yes. I'm such a scary person.
And how do you cope with that?
Well, I meditate. No, I'm just kidding. So what we do is that I ask people if they want to talk in Iran International, if they want to have their opinion broadcasted on Iran International, which is the most viewed Persian news channel, which I think would be an opportunity for anyone who wants to, express their opinion. But some people, because they go back to Iran, because they have ties in Iran, they think every appearance in Iran International would mean that they will be bothered by the government of Iran, which I'm pretty sure is not true, because the government of Iran doesn't have this much people to watch every program that we make and, point out people who are in the background or give a comment about some food or anything.
So, do you take it personally?
I don't. I sometimes, there's one saying in Farsi that I can't translate to English. It's shotor savari dola dola nemishe dige. So when you are in the society in Canada,
getting on a camel.
Yeah, you can do it hiding. You can't hide.
When you're on the camel, you can't hide.
No.
What is the shotor savari? Say it again.
Shotor savari dola dola nemishe. So some of these people, let me explain.
Yeah. It just means you can't half-ass anything. But
why do our sayings always have camels in them? I mean, what? It's always a throwback to some. It's never new tech or something.
Don't associate Iran with camels.
You did. I mean, with the shotor, I didn't know. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was saying, in this community, there are many, many people who take part in demonstrations when something happens and they want to be a part of the community and they want to have their voice heard by the government of Canada. But those same people, when I go and ask them about something as casual as Sizde Bedar, they don't want to be on camera for Iran International TV. So what I say is exactly that. That's what I say. I say, shotor savari dola dola nemishe. If you have an opinion, you have to be brave enough to express it, whatever opportunity that you have. So if you want to express that you are fed up with the government of Iran, you should do it. You should take the opportunity.
And Pegah, this is, I should mention that by way of introduction to Pegah, she's not just our regular who does this roundup with me so often, but the director of Rook Live. She's been working really hard putting this together, as she always does. This is fun.
This is fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm so excited, and I can't believe how many people are here. Oh my gosh.
It's
great to see the crowd.
It's wonderful. And it's wonderful that we sold out in advance this time.
Yes,
we
we
like to
did.
see the growth. Okay, so what a week. Usually on our Rook podcast, we deal with the past week. So this week, Trump, Trudeau, turbulence, tariffs, drama. Let me start here in Canada. And I was thinking about, since the last time we did Rook Live, it was about 2 or 3 months ago, a lot has changed in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've had a prime minister resign. There's an imminent election. The president of the United States is trying to make us the 51st state. There's a lot going on. And I bring it up because we talk about this each week on the show, but last time we were here, we actually did a poll of the audience. And the audience was extremely, it was incredibly lopsided when it came to Justin Trudeau, in the negative. I don't think anyone, there was like one maybe peep of, frightened peep of support for Justin Trudeau. It was pretty much unanimous that people were not happy, unhappy, uninterested, it's over, we don't want to vote for him, etc. One of the things that I was remarking at the time and thought about afterwards, Mahsa, and I think of you because you do interview a number of different Canadian politicians from the different parties, and then you talk to Iranians in our community about them, some of whom are Iranian candidates in different parties. Yeah. It feels to me like there has been a migration in the Iranian community from the Liberal Party. I mean, it was always divided. There were people who would vote Conservative and Liberal and NDP, but in Canada, it feels like there's been a migration from the Liberals to the Conservatives. And that has come both as a product of a lot of new Iranians coming, say, to a place like Toronto, but also as a product of Iranians being fed up with the government not taking more action, say, after Mahsa Amini. Is that something that you have witnessed?
Yes.
And has anything changed in the last 3 months since we did the poll here?
No, it definitely has. I've been doing the, reporting from Toronto for the past 5 years now. And when I started, the Liberal Party was so popular among people, especially the Iranian people, because you know how the immigration works with the Liberal Party. We see that 1.3 million people came just in 1 year, so that includes our own community as well. But I think in Canada, there is a time limit for each party that is governing. So I think the time limit would be 8 years, 9 years. Usually that's what happens. And then Mahsa Amini, the Woman Life Freedom movement happened, and everybody was expecting so much from the government. They have received a lot of it, though. If we count the things that they wanted, the people wanted the Liberal Party granted, so many of them, including listing IRGC as a terrorist organization in Canada. But I think their time is up, not only among the
It took
Iranian...
a few years to get that. It took a few years of Iranians demanding that.
Yeah.
What seemed like a basic request to put the IRGC on the terrorist list.
Yeah, it took from 2018, but still in the Europe, we're still working on it. So Canada was one of the first country, it was the second country that did this, right, after the USA.
In your, just very recently, now that Trudeau's stepped down, or imminently, it's hard to tell where, he's still the prime minister, but he's going to step down, somebody new is going to come in.
He's regaining some of his charm, though.
Is he?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that in
I have.
in the Iranians that you're interviewing?
The Liberal Party is regaining some of its charm because I think that people know that the financial problems are the main concern for everybody in Canada, not only the Iranian community. And if one of the candidates, I don't know if I can say names here or not.
Why not?
No? Okay.
Say whatever you want, yeah.
I think if Mark Carney is appointed as the next leader, then he would address some financial problems.
Okay. Pegah, what's your perspective on what's going on?
I think,
With respect to our community especially.
Well, like Mahsa said, I think a lot of the issues don't just affect Iranians, but Canadians across the board. But I think specifically when we talk about Iranians, I think Justin's lost his charm, so to speak. I think at the onset of, when he had started his, I guess, political career and things like that, Iranians were very hopeful because they followed the Liberal Party. They were more in tune with, or more in favor of liberals as a whole, again, because of immigration and some of the other policies. But even with immigration, I think that's actually kind of the nail in the coffin for a lot of Iranians. A lot of Iranians you talk to, even though they're for immigration policies, they feel that, over the last couple of years, it's really gotten out of hand. And I think that's one of the things that's actually led to the demise of Trudeau.
Let's test the theory with our audience. We have 400 people here, a sold-out audience in the City Playhouse, and you are and the lights will come up a little bit. And you are this is a cross-section of people. I want to note that for people listening around the world, we're getting a little Canada-centric here, but Toronto, generally considered a progressive city, has always been a liberal/NDP city. So to have a cross-section of people in Toronto reacting the way they did last time with respect to Justin Trudeau, et cetera, was quite telling. This is a cross-section, different demographics, different people from different places. We have quite a wide audience. But let me test it to you. How many of you right today would be voting for the Liberal Party in the coming federal election in Canada? By way of applause. No, by way of applause. Just cheer. Okay.
I told you.
How many would be voting for the Liberal Party if Justin Trudeau was still the leader? Well, you don't get a vote. Are you a Canadian citizen? No.
Shohreh, you're so cute.
She's being fuzuli. Okay, well now how many of you, just out of interest, are definitely, you feel you're going to vote for the Conservative Party in the coming federal election?
I hope you have another Rook before the election, and then we can count
So maybe you're right that things are shifting, because
It is.
I can tell you,
especially after Trump.
You were here the last time we did
Yeah.
this 2 or 3 months ago. It was 100%. I mean, there was a lot of anger towards Trudeau. I think this also has to do with Trump becoming president, right?
Across the border is probably having a huge impact on some of the feelings that we see in the room.
So talk to me about that. Let's get to Trump, because he's the other thing we were going to talk about. I mean, because no one's talking about him, of course. Yeah. Why not? First of all, how do you think that's affecting people here in Canada? Like, how does that affect an Iranian in Toronto and their opinion of how they want to vote?
I mean, first of all, I've never seen this level of patriotism in Canada before. I mean, unless we talk about hockey games or basketball games or things like that, we've never seen Canadian population come together in this way. And specifically, Iranian Canadians, I've never seen them so heated about...
You are saying that you're referencing the reaction to Trump sort of boldly saying that the U.S. could basically annex Canada and why don't you just become a 51st state and you're good for nothing, and all of that stuff that he says, that is his style, of course, that this has amounted to a dramatic rise in nationalism, and you're seeing that in the Iranian community as well.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have heard Iranian Canadians also say, yeah, we should become the 51st state, which I personally don't agree with. But I've also heard a lot of Iranian Canadians feel that sense of patriotism and to say, no, why should we? And the United States has their own problems and Canada's far better off, and actually be involved in that conversation.
You're a group of mostly, about 400 Iranian Canadians. How many of you would be okay with Canada becoming a 51st state?
Some people just like to collab. I would say that.
No, I think they understood the question. I think this proves that there are Iranians who are okay with
it.
Albany College.
Do you want to ask the same question again?
Let me
Or
ask.
in reverse?
Yeah.
Well, if I ask it in, well, sure, I think we'll know the answer if I say, how many of you definitely do not want to become part of the United States of America? With apologies to Fardad and Shohreh and our dear American friends. Speaking of Trump, I want to reference Trump and Iran before we go, because look, we did our first podcast of 2025 in early January. Was a special we did forecasting whether this might be a big year of change for Iran, because I think a lot of Iranians around the world, even those who may not necessarily like Trump's style or even what he stands for or his ideological leanings, were enthused that amongst other things happening in the world, the neutering of Hamas and Hezbollah and the fall of Assad, and that the election of Trump would suggest that we are closer to change coming in Iran. And so we had 9 different people from around the world, prominent Iranian thinkers. And to be fair, I think more than half of them said, oh no, this is going to be a big year. And they thought that because of Trump. They said, you know, he makes a difference, maximum pressure, you know. It kind of isn't working out that way so far. So yes, 2 days ago, let me just read this in Reuters. US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday, he would love to make a deal with Iran to improve bilateral relations. I say this to Iran, who's listening very intently, I would love to be able to make a great deal, a deal where you can get on with your lives. Now, he did then say, we don't want you to have nuclear weapons, but this feels like it's a far cry from maximum pressure, you know, we want the end of the regime. Some of the things that, to be fair, Shahzadeh Reza Pahlavi is you know, touting with Donald Trump, et cetera. Trump says a lot of different things. Do we still think that it's good to have him on Iran? Pegah.
You know, I think he's just setting the stage for a potential deal. And I say that because we've seen him make a lot of these bold statements, if you will, and then very quickly we notice that they're empty words. I mean, look at the scenario with the tariffs in Canada and Mexico and so on.
But
What
the bold
he said-
statements he's making now, he's saying, let's actually make a deal.
Well-
the whole point was we didn't want Biden to make a deal, and now Trump is saying, I'll make a deal.
The thing is, even with let's make a deal, he's not just saying that. He's saying there's going to be airstrikes and I support Israel and this and that. And then he goes on to say, let's make a deal. So there's a lot of uncertainty in what he's saying, first of all. And I almost feel like he's trying to cover all of his bases. But I think we need to also look at the response that we're getting from the Islamic Republic. Just earlier today, I think I was reading that Pezeshkian was mentioning that, you know, we're not looking for nuclear weapons anymore, or we're not looking for nuclear weapons at all. In fact, it goes against all ethics and religion to kill, you know, poor people here and there and whatnot. So I think the reality is there's a lot of bold statements being made, but the reality is that everyone who's involved is trying to keep their options open to see what would most benefit them. And I think Trump is doing it the most. I think he's trying to look like the tough guy on this topic and take a hard stance, but in reality, I think he's gearing up for a deal.
Mahsa, there was a lot of enthusiasm about the election of Trump. Is that waning based on the kind of things he's saying?
I think Trump is just trying to be nice to the people of Iran. That's my personal opinion. Because he's saying if this, then that. If we don't have nuclear power in Iran, if we don't have money for the proxies outside of Iran, you know, all the ifs that are impossible. So the deal that he's making is basically impossible to make. He was just trying to be nice to the people of Iran.
Really?
He even mentioned that.
I mean, but he's a guy capable of saying, we're going to take over the Gaza Strip. But he's not capable, but he's saying, let's make a deal with the regime in Iran. I mean, it doesn't, it seems like he's capable of saying, let's get rid of this regime.
Yeah, he claimed Canada as the 51st.
I want to, let's just test the audience on this too, because last time, again, there was a lot of Canadians, a lot of Iranian Canadians here who were very enthusiastic about Trump. Let me ask you again, are you still enthusiastic about Donald Trump when it comes to the potential of change in Iran? Maybe it's just a different crowd this time.
Yeah.
How many of you are not that excited about the election of Donald Trump in the United States? All right. About half and half. We're back to quorum. We're back to balance.
Interesting.
A final theory. I feel like one of the reasons why some Iranians do like Trump is that we've long talked about the fact that maybe authoritarians run things better. And when we had psychologist Fateh Moqaddam on the show, Dr. Moqaddam, he's always great, and he talks about the fact that Iranians have never had a democracy. They don't know how to do democracy. And so there's a feeling that, and as crazy as it sounds, when all the other options are not necessarily working, maybe a strong man or woman, but in this case of Trump, is what we are looking for. Do you think that there's anything to that, Mahsa?
I would agree that we never had true democracy as defined by the democratic nations. I'm not sure if Trump is the right person to look up to, because he's convicted of so many crimes, even in the USA. How can he save a nation so far away with the things that he's not even capable of doing in his own country?
The response to that would be that those are political convictions, that people out to get him.
Still, why Obama doesn't have this kind of baggage? Because he was a sane person. He's not.
Last word to you, Pegah.
I think it's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. When we say that we can only think of a dictator or authoritarian or these things as strong. I think the reality is we haven't really had a taste of proper and true democracy, and that might be why.
Thank you both so much for the Rook Roundup. Mahsa Mortazavi, Pegah, Ganji. Thank you, guys. It was great. Nice to have you. This is Rook, episode 359, live from the City Playhouse in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, in front of a beautiful Persian crowd, Persian, Iranian, Canadian, American. Okay, our next performer is a talented Iranian musician who is a familiar face and voice for fans of Persian TV networks. He was born and raised in Rasht. Shout out to Rasht. All right. And was inspired by renowned Persian musicians such as Habib and Farmaz Aslani, which sparked his interest in the guitar. By the age of 17, he'd become one of the few guitar teachers in Rasht. He pursued his passion for music to England in 2003, settling first in Stoke and then to Manchester, where he studied popular music at the University of Salford. He has since been a regular presence on places like Manoto. You've seen him regularly on Chanshanbe Sina. And now he finds himself in Canada, and we're lucky to have him performing an original song along with his band. Please welcome Siamak Mehr.
خیلی خوشحالم در خدمت شما عزیزان هستم. من زیاد نباید حرف بزنم، بهتر بود انگلیسی هم حرف میزنم چون whole thing is in English. خیلی کویک، خیلی تند. خیلی خوشحالم در خدمتتون هستم. یه آهنگ هست که هنوز ریلیز نشده، براتون اجرا میکنم. آهنگیش از آقای شعر، آهنگش از آقای حالا یادم نمیاد اسم افشین مقدم عزیز. بله، یکی از بهترین ترانه‌سراهای ما. من یه همکلاس داشتم افشین قوی دل، هی دارم سعی میکنم اونو یادم نیاد که مقدمو بگم. از این اتفاقا میفته. خیلی خوشحالم در خدمتتون هستم. بابک امین اینجاست، اردوان عزیز اینجاست، بهترین ها، افتخار ما، شهره آغداشلو، مازیار عزیزم، آقای فرداد فرحزاد نمیبینمش الان کجاست، قربونت برم. خیلی دارم براتون تنگ شد و خوشحال شدم دوباره دیدمتون این دوستان رو و اجازه بدید آهنگو اجرا بکنم. امیدوارم که ریورب به صدای من بدن. دارم در طی حرف زدن دنبالش هم میگردم. یک دو. Can I have some reverbs please here? Thank you. Yeah. که یه خونه ویرونه میشه از در و پنجرش آهن میمونه همیشه از بهترین آرزوها بدترین خاطره با من میمونه از کسی همیشه ضربه میخورم که رفیق و هم پیاله منه هر جا که مشت کسی رو وا کنم توش فقط قلب مچاله منه دیگه با هیچ کسی کاری ندارم با خودم قول و قراری ندارم اونقدر منو تکونده زندگی رو تنم گرد و غباری ندارم چقدر از هم دیگه ما دور شدیم با شکسته های هم جور شدیم بس که پشت گریه لبخند زدیم مثل یه وصله ناجور شدیم یه خونه ویرونه میشه از در و پنجرش آهن میمونه همیشه از بهترین آرزوها بدترین خاطره با من میمونه چقدر از هم دیگه ما دور شدیم با شکسته های هم جور شدیم بس که پشت گریه لبخند زدیم مثل یه وصله ناجور شدیم چقدر از هم دیگه ما دور شدیم با شکسته های هم جور شدیم بس که پشت گریه لبخند زدیم مثل یه وصله ناجور شدیم
Siamak Mehr.
خیلی ممنون خواهش میکنم به افتخار آقای میلاد خواهش میکنم آقای بابک
All right, come on over here. He's got to shake everyone's hand. Come here. Nicely done, sir. Very nice. Nice. Hi. Yes, thank you. You're going to shake the hand of the entire crowd before you come to the microphone.
It's good that I can see everyone's face.
Can you see
clearly.
everyone? It's kind of
So,
dark, no?
I don't panic that much.
Oh, you cannot see them. Yes.
No, I cannot see how they look, but I can see heads. Oh no, no. Don't scare me. I'm so glad to see you guys.
Do you generally not like to see the audience when you? What do you have against the audience?
I have so many sides. Leave it alone. Yeah, it was really nice to play in front of audience.
Tell me about that song. Why did you pick that song?
I'm gonna say the name again wrong. Come on, man. افشین قویدل که همکلاسم بود.
مقدم.
مقدم عزیز. ماشاءالله همه افشین مقدم میشید دست به افتخار افشین مقدم بزن.
No one will forget who wrote the song now. You've done a good job.
افشین مقدم he sent me the song and it's not released yet.
Oh, he sent the song. He sent it to you.
Yes.
So it's never been recorded before by anybody else.
Khashiyar Bondar recorded it first. It's been recorded. It's been arranged and is in a different way and more rock and thing style. For this occasion, I thought we better.
Wait, Casey Bondar recorded it with you, right? Or did he do his own version? He produced it with you. Yes. So you're the first person to do this song. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, I love it. And وقتی که یه خونه ویرونه میشه از در و پنجرش آهن میمونه همیشه از بهترین آرزوهام بدترین خاطره با من میمونه. It's a little bit sad song. تلخه bitter. ولی آره kind of واقعیه واقعا برای این روزا.
برای این روزا are you feeling bitter?
After Donald Trump coming.
oh, you're not a fan. You're not a fan.
Trump?
Yeah.
It's not being fan, to be honest. It's not that. I don't look at it that way. But I see the guy as the most powerful person in history of human being.
Well, along with Elon. The two of them.
Elon, Elon. El is the name of a god, kind of. Elon, it means belong to God.
Oh.
Okay, Elon is that. Or El Yar, it means Yar or companion of the God. So El is a god. It's a kind of Jewish god. El Shaddai, this kind of. I'm not going to take you there. Anyway, Trump is it.
But if he writes a song for you, you're going to remember his name.
We have to talk in one song.
Tell me about the move to Canada. How has that shifted you as an artist? I mean, you spent all of those years. It's funny to hear you talking in Persian because you're actually a British guy. Yeah. You spent decades in the UK, and I wonder how you feel like this has changed you as an artist, or has it?
I live it, to be honest. I don't have no plans or things. I'm not a plan person. I just live it, whatever comes. I have guitars, I have pianos, my room. I live in a farm near Toronto. So I spend a good time and I'm happy, yeah. But as a musician, I'm working on new projects and it's not my desired project as a rock guitarist growing up with rock music and this kind of style. I always think like utopian, kind of thing that the song is going to be that and this. So I'm not proud of anything. That's maybe my character.
Wait a second. You're not proud of what?
I'm not proud of the things I do. That this song, I made this. I never.
Why?
Even my performances. Rarely I go.
You're highly self-critical.
Yes, I'm very. Yeah, you can say that.
But you're such a great player, man. And your
Really?
voice is.
I
I really think
appreciate
so.
it.
I really think you're great. And your voice is killer. You know that, right?
No. Come on. No.
No, your voice is unimpeachable.
Thank you.
You have a really. You have a.
My voice, my guitar playing is better. Sorry, Baba. I play guitar really good, but حوصله ندارم اونقدر. I play really good.
چرا حوصله نداری? You're at a farm. Why don't you play the? What are you doing? Play the guitar.
I like to relax more. I know. 1 o'clock in the morning, I turn the distortion up and play like crazy.
All right.
If I feel myself, it's really good, to be honest. I'm proud of myself at that time when I play on my own. But yeah.
Hey man, you were one of the first calls about coming on Rook Live 4. I really appreciate you being here. I always love you as an artist. It's great to hear you sing here. Thank you for being
I'm honored,
here.
man. Thank you. Thank you for
Siamak Mehr, everybody. This is Rook, episode 359, live from the City Playhouse Theatre in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, in front of a big crowd here. We are so excited to be here. I am wearing my new reddish jacket. And I did not say that, I did not get the jacket on the premise that I was going to promote this company, but this is from Roomy Mode. And a lot of the people I know, they dress Dear Monziar Falahi and a bunch of other people, but I really wanted to mention this because today is Mojtaba from Rumi Mode's birthday. Happy birthday. Tavallud, tavallud, tavalludet mubarak. I don't know where you are. Where is he? Is he here somewhere? There he is. Hey, happy birthday, man. For your, thank you so much for the great work you do. You're a great designer. All right, let's bring out our next featured guest. We're very happy to have him here. He does not make a lot of these kinds of public appearances. He's a prominent Iranian-British journalist, an anchor, an entrepreneur. He was born in Bandar Azali in the 1980s. He fell in love with television when he was a kid. By the time he was 17, in 2003, he moved to UAE by himself to study. He started reporting from Dubai for BBC Persian. By 2008, he had moved to London to start working for the newly launched BBC Persian TV. After 10 years working at BBC Persian, he resigned, and now he's the host of the show 24 on Iran International. He is quite simply one of, if not the most prominent news anchor in Iranian media in the world. Please welcome Fardad Farahzad. All right, we brought into David Bowie. That's the highest honor I can give you, to play David Bowie when you come. It's great to have you here.
Great.
Thank you for making this
See you
trip.
again. Thank you so much.
Dude, you know,
Is it better?
You know how to work the microphone.
I know. Mine is always here. But
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the
Thanks for having me. It's
snowy
great to see
Toronto
you.
from LA.
Indeed. Actually, I came from Washington.
Oh, you came from Washington. Not so bad. You know, I was looking up and listening to the last time you were officially on the show, which was 4 years ago.
4 years
4
already?
years ago,
Wow.
January 2021. And you were talking about how one of your dreams, or one of your intentions, they always say set the intention. One of your intentions was to get to the United States and be anchoring your own show there. You're doing that. I mean, you really are kind of at the top of the heap when it comes to Persian media. Do you feel that, and are you where you want to be?
I don't necessarily feel being on top of the Persian media. I'm not sure that's the right position. But I am extremely happy of what I'm doing. And especially nowadays, I think we are having a meaningful impact, not only inside Iran, which is obviously our main target and the most important target, but also for the diaspora all around the world. I have a feeling, especially after Women Life Freedom movement, there is now a significant number of Persian viewers that are more interested in Iranian news, even those who are maybe second generation, they don't speak necessarily good Persian, but they're more keen to know more about what's happening back in their home country.
That's interesting. You think second generation Iranians in the diaspora watch Iran International even if they don't speak Farsi as well?
Even if they don't speak fluently, yeah. I mean, there are technologies now, there is English subtitle, at least I put English subtitle on my shows. But even those who speak broken English, at least they follow us on social media and they use translation, or if they speak half Persian, you know.
It's always interesting to me when you're an anchor like yourself, it's a duality that almost no anchor in other places has. I mean, if somebody is in the UK on BBC, they're broadcasting to Britain, even though people around the world may be listening. You've got this weird paradox where you're broadcasting.
I'm offshore.
Well, you're offshore, you're broadcasting to people dakhili Iran, the people inside Iran, but you're also broadcasting to the diaspora.
That's true.
Do you have to think of that while you're actually doing what you do? Do you have to think, I'm doing this for the person in Qazvin as well as the person in San Diego?
Indeed, mostly because you mentioned San Diego, particularly US stories are of an interest not only for Iranians inside Iran, but for Americans. I know a couple of at least Persians who came to me and saying, you know, on the US election night, I was switching between CNN and Iran International, even though Persian is not their native language, but they were interested to see the Iranian perspective of the US election.
And what was that? What was the Iranian perspective of the US election?
That what does it mean if Donald Trump becomes the president of the United States for Iran? As I said, particularly after Women Life Freedom movement in Iran, a lot of Iranians who were not necessarily interested in the stories in Iran became more interested. And I think they want to know, does a new US president, does a new administration mean any meaningful change inside Iran as well?
Do you think Iranian audiences consume news differently compared to audiences in other parts of the world?
Of course, it's life and death. It's a very different situation. We live in a very weird country. You know, there are many totalitarian and non-democracies around the world, but you don't find many that are kind of like Iran. You've got like a couple of weird ones, Turkmenistan, North Korea, and they're quite isolated. At least they don't poke other countries in the region. But Iran is this unique country that has a very educated, you know, Western-looking, relatively liberal society. I'm not saying that's all of Iranians, but I think it's a relatively big chunk of Iranians. And they're suppressed by this, you know, Islamist regime that is quite unique in its way of governing.
Speaking of life and death, security is an issue for you.
Nowadays it is.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
You okay to talk about that?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your life has been threatened.
That's true.
Quite famously.
Yeah.
We all kind of know that. It's like a elephant in the room or something.
Don't leave the room.
How did you consume that news, and how do you cope with that kind of reality?
I mean, I vaguely knew that there is always a risk working with a foreign Iranian broadcaster broadcasting to Iran, particularly Iran International. Even when I was working with BBC Persian, there were risks involved. Iran International more so, but I always thought it's sort of a vague, just more like a threatening us situation, until the ITV revelation that there was actually a plot through a Syrian gang in London trying to kill me. Then it became more vivid and real that no, it's actually planned and could have happened.
And so how do you cope with that?
You try to live your life as normal, as reasonably normal as possible.
Did you ever consider not doing this?
No, I haven't. I mean, I don't want to say I'm a hero and I will do anything, you know, to continue my job. Obviously, if I feel there is a moment that the threat is imminent, you know, there might be a second guess. But so far, I think in any job there are risks involved, whether you are a pilot, especially nowadays, flying an airplane, or a journalist covering particularly Middle East, the risks are always there. And it's a career we selected by choice.
Has it changed your life? Do you avoid? I mean,
yeah,
to be honest,
mostly for traveling.
I haven't told you this. Yeah. You know, we talk. I haven't said that I was actually surprised that you agreed to come do this. I was surprised.
I wanted to come. I love your show, and I love Rook, and I want to be Rook with you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But you don't do a lot of these kind of appearances, and I understand sometimes why.
Not necessarily because of security.
That's not why?
No, I mean, even before the security concerns, I don't want to be the subject of a news or a story. You know, I'm the courier. I just bring the news. I don't want to be part of the news myself. You know, even when I was reporting about the assassination attempt, it was really weird reporting on myself. You know, even what you wear on air. I mean, now I'm wearing this funky clothes from our friend Mojtaba and his nice brand Rumi. But even what you wear as a journalist on air, you don't want to be too distracting for the audience. You know, you want the main focus to be on the actual story. You don't want to become the story. That's the worst nightmare for many journalists.
You kind of do become the story.
I know,
it's inevitable. It is inevitable, particularly in the Iranian community. I mean, this is true for, look, the anchors at CNN and CBC and everybody get this kind of stuff. But particularly in our community, it won't come as a surprise to you that booking you on a show like this, I mean, first of all, again, the disclaimer, everyone says everything about everybody. So I'm well used to that. Yeah. But you kind of get it from both sides. And I wouldn't mind you addressing that because...
If it's from both sides, it's good. If it's only from one side, that's disconcerting.
Well, one of the sides is look, I mean, there were some people who didn't want to sponsor the show because I don't want to be associated. This guy, I like to go back to Iran, and he's such a stated enemy of the regime, that kind of thing. On the other side, there are people saying this guy is cozy with the regime, and I don't like him because he's too, he's Aghdashloo.
Yeah.
So,
well, for the record, for the 10th time, I'm not an Aghdashloo. That Farahzad, Ayatollah Farahzad, is not my father. He's just a dude that happened to have that last name.
But
I mean, even
but
if
it's
he
an
was, that
interesting-
wouldn't be a problem. Your father can be a dictator.
Of course, you don't
it has
have to
nothing
be.
to do with your.
But it's an interesting place to be, where you kind of get, I mean, these conflicting ideas of you. Do you entertain that? Do you see it? Do you look at comments? Do you shut it out? How do you deal with that?
No, I mean, I try not to read comments too much. I mean, but nowadays it's difficult not to. You open Instagram, there are comments. You open Twitter, there are comments, or X. But I don't try. I try not to let that to influence my judgment. And my judgment is very simple and basic. I have my own political views, like anyone else has. But the moment I go on air, I try to put it aside and say, Fardad, if you bring it to the show, you're a pig. It doesn't matter what you think. Just go. Sometimes you have to do devil advocate. Sometimes you have to ask the question that you don't necessarily agree with the concept of the argument. But you're trying to shed a light on a story from different perspectives. Maybe there'll be an interesting element that you are not seeing from your own bias.
Yeah. People don't, sometimes I want to say the Iranian community, but don't always get that you're being a journalist sometimes.
Yeah, it's a relatively new concept for us. Yeah.
Is it? Is that?
I think so, especially TV news broadcast is relatively contemporary.
I remember we have a series with Rook called The Contemporary History of Iran. And we brought someone on who was talking about how Khomeini, the original, the OG, Khomeini, part of how he ascended to power was that he had a certain charm. That's what the guy said. And he was actually, it was in the context of a conversation about how demonically totalitarian this guy ends up being. It wasn't like, there was nothing pro-Khomeini about the talk, in fact. But we got so much reaction, so many people angry at me, at the show, at every, how could you bring somebody on who would say Khomeini is charming?
I understand that, though. I mean, we are not broadcasting in a normal environment. It's a suffocating regime. I totally get that. And there is a lot of mistrust, some of them for right reasons. So I don't blame people of second guessing, questioning, scrutinizing us journalists as well, because they've been treated badly for the past 40 plus years. So it's their right. Even in a democratic society like United States, even in Canada, I'm not talking about pundits, but journalists who do relatively good job, they always get attacked from both sides. It's part of being in public life.
Yes, that is part of the game. Yeah, for sure.
It comes with the territory.
How do you feel about platforming people from the regime? This is something that has been a tough one for me.
You mean on broadcast, or you're talking about them being on social media?
No. I'm talking. Well, that's another thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about bringing them on. I'm talking about whether you would interview some of these people and whether you should.
Well, they don't talk to us, at least anymore.
Do you believe that networks should have them on? I mean, would you listen? I was very critical of CNN and Amanpour. I did an essay about it.
Yeah.
Who brought on Hossein Amir Abdullahi before he got caught in the helicopter, because I felt like the viewers, now that's an international audience or an American audience, it's not the Iran international audience, but I felt like the viewers don't have the context. So they see this guy coming on.
That's the key word, context. You have to give context.
The guy comes on, even though Christiane Amanpour is pushing back and going, but people died. He says, nobody died. There was no uprising, you know. And for somebody at home watching in Kansas who has no context, they're going, oh, I guess there's two sides to this. There isn't two sides to it, right? This guy's, you know, part of a regime that's repressing, suppressing, and killing kids, right? So I had an issue with that. Would you bring him on your show? Would you bring Zarif on your show?
I would happily bring Zarif on the show, but context is the key word that you mentioned. And I think, I'm not talking about Amanpouri in particular, but American journalists who bring these Iranian officials on their shows, they have an extra duty to give a full, clear picture of what is happening. And because it's such a unique country and access is very limited and rare, I feel, again, I'm not talking about any particular journalists, but a lot of American, British journalists who get the chance to interview Iranian officials, whether it's on Iranian soil in particular, or in New York or Washington. They do a couple of those like tough questions, but they're not really tough questions because they don't want to lose access, you know?
Yes.
Because if you get an invitation to Tehran to go and interview the Iranian foreign minister or president, for that matter, you know how valuable that is, and you think, oh, my competitor, the other network, didn't get to come here. So yeah, let me ask a couple of tough questions so I can make sure that the audience who are more scrutinizing me would get satisfied, but maybe not push him to the point that they might deport me or, you know, not invite me.
But you, on an Iranian network, where you believe the audience has more context, you would interview Pezeshkian.
I would interview Pezeshkian, of course. There are lots of questions that they have to answer, and keeping them accountable is part of your job.
I guess the argument that some would make is, we already know these guys are liars. We're 50 years into this.
Yeah, but
what question are you going to ask?
Yeah, but they're in power. That's the reality on the ground. You know, they have a control over 80+ million people. You know.
How do you feel about? Sorry, moving on. I got your answer. How do you feel about you're in D.C. a lot of the time? I think you were just there for. Were you in the room with Bibi and Trump? Were you actually there a couple of days ago?
No, I was just outside the White House. No, I wasn't in the room. No.
Well, what is your perspective on the Trump administration vis-a-vis Iran at present?
I'm not terribly surprised with his approach of showing some teeth about the maximum pressure, but also talking about possible negotiations. I think anyone who thought on day one he would come and say, you know, I'm scrambling the jets, you know, I'm putting you on maximum pressure, I'm gonna overthrow your regime. I don't think any US government would have done that. Obviously, when you want to negotiate with a regime, when you want them to stop their nuclear program, you're not going to tell them, oh, by the way, I'm going to overthrow your regime. I understand that that's what a lot of Iranians want for very good reasons. But if you look at it from the American perspective, what is their main concern? It's a rogue state in the middle of a very hot region like the Middle East. The last thing you want is for them to have a nuclear weapon. So that's number one priority for United States and for that matter for the state of Israel as well. So I'm not surprised that Trump thinks that if he can stop Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, the other problems that Iran causes in the region can be manageable. It doesn't mean that the Iranian side will necessarily agree to that.
Of course. It's great to have you. You know, you're a remarkably young guy. I don't know if people know this. Are you still in you're 20 or something? How old are you?
No, I'm 38.
You're 38. All right. Well, yes, you've gotten old. But do you? I find that young, given all that you've done, that you're still in your 30s. Do you? You know, we started the interview with where you were at 4 years ago. Where do you hope to be half a decade from now? Imagine Iran International is not listening.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking of my contract. Hopefully, I'll still be doing the same, but maybe I would be able to go and report from a free Tehran as well. You know? Yeah.
The charming answer. Look at you.
Or any city in Iran for that matter, not just Tehran.
I thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you. It's nice to have you in Toronto. Thanks.
Fardad
Farahzad.
Thank you.
This is Rook, episode 359, live from the City Playhouse in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, in front of a fantastic Persian audience here. Okay. Our next performers, I'm so excited to have them both here. On the piano is someone who has very quickly become one of our faves. She began playing the piano at the age of 7, entered the music conservatory at 11, and graduated as a classical pianist. At 16, she started teaching piano and opened her own piano academy at 20 years old in Iran. She's still only 27 now and has amassed a huge following online. She'll be performing a riveting piece and will be joined on stage by an Iranian graphic designer, dancer, instructor, and choreographer based in Toronto with a focus on Iranian classical and folkloric dance. She's also the founder of Hur Dance Team, and she's also, lucky for us, a longtime member of our Rook team as well. Please welcome Ghazal Akhounzadeh and Anahita Nayebi. Anahita Nayebi, Ghazal Akhounzadeh. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you back here. Whoops.
Okay,
What, can you tell us something quick about that piece?
of course. First of all, hi everyone. Hi Jian.
Hi.
Before I start to talk about the piece, I just want to say is that my first live interview in English and the اصرار Jian. Because I'm surprised of myself to doing this right now because I'm not very fluent and native in English speaking, but I try my best to can answer your question. Thank you.
It's bold. It's
Okay.
great. Yeah. So
Thank you
just
so
you're
much.
gonna and listen. It's gonna be a couple of
The-
minutes. It'll go quickly
of
like this. How do you tell us about that piece first?
Okay, the piece I played for you is one of the pieces from Master Anushiravan Rohani called Yadegar Umr, Memories of Life. And always when I have the performance, I like to play the Iranian music songs because I like to showcase the culture of Iranian music, especially Anushiravan Rohani, because his composition, especially wrought from the piano, and it has the high level, advanced level of the playing.
This story about you at a young age starting a piano academy in Iran.
Yeah.
Like, was playing piano always going to be what you wanted to do? Is that was just obvious to you?
When you tell me about this question, I think about, you mean, is that playing the piano my dream or something
Yeah,
like
when you
that?
were little, I mean, is 3-year-old Ghazal wanting to play the piano? Is that what, how did you this quickly become so proficient?
Okay. When I think about my childhood, I'm not much of a dreamer, my character, but I always deeply interested to the music and playing the piano, and my parents supported me a lot on this path. But I think after I started learning the piano, and after a few years, I understand better of myself or my abilities. Yeah, my dream became to achieve or reach the highest level of playing the piano, and yeah.
Ghazal, you teach people, you teach students, you have students around the world that you teach online and stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that you left Iran was you became very famous online. I mean, you have a huge following online, hundreds of thousands of followers, et cetera. But because of the outfits that you were wearing while you were playing the piano in Iran, the regime didn't like that, and you got into some trouble. Was that part of?
Oh, such a challenging
Do we not talk about that?
Can I skip this question?
If you want to. I mean, I don't want to.
No, it means when I was in Iran, I try my best to ensure most of my activities, like, for example, the concerts I had, to comply with the government regulations.
Okay, yeah.
Because I avoid any issues. And I don't like some simple things like wearing the clothes, how can I say, issues with my process. I don't like to face with that, and I try my best to avoid these things. But no, I don't.
خب اینجا چه میتونی فارسی بگی که چی شد با که آخه یه چیزی شد دیگه که گفتی که
No.
نشد نمیخوایم حرف
چیزی
بزنیم.
نشد.
Okay, it wasn't a language thing. I
نشد.
just don't want to talk about it. Okay, all right. So let me stay with the online thing.
Okay.
Though. You
این ربطی به فارسی انگلیسیش نداشت.
I was just making sure. Yeah. Is it important to you? I mean, how do you cultivate this online thing? how much time and effort do you put into this big following that you have? It's quite remarkable. I mean, you're great, and you're wonderful, and you're charming, and you're sweet, and you're such a great player. But you don't think of piano players, being influencers, and it's not like you're selling clothing or something. You're just playing the piano in your videos, Now, tell me about how you've built that.
Okay. Is that a great question? Thank you.
That one's okay.
Instead of
okay.
the previous one. Okay. Few years ago, when I started to share my video on Instagram, it's not very common in Iran. The woman shared about their playing in Instagram. And for this reason, at that time, when I shared the very simple videos, I achieved lots of positive reactions.
Yes.
And my goal for my page, shape of my reaction of my audience, because on that time, the comments, lots of positive comments. Someone, they don't have any background in music. They comment me, your videos inspired us to start playing the piano or start learn the music, and that's a huge thing for me. And on that time, I promised myself, okay, I should start a journey to share more videos of my playing. And yeah,
I have to say, you're not just great. You're so great to deal with. Last time when you came in at the last minute and played piano with Nusha Farin, and I really appreciate what you do, and I'm really excited for what you've built. Thank you so much for doing this. Ghazal Akhounzadeh. This is Rook, episode 359, live from the City Playhouse in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, in front of a sold-out crowd. I'm so pleased to speak of the development group Montrok. Remember their name, Montrok. You will be hearing it a lot in the coming years. Montrok Group is a pioneering developer dedicated to sustainable development through extensive research and innovation, anchored in the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Recently partnered with UN Habitat. They are leading sustainability initiatives in Canada and globally. Their commitment to creating a greener future is driving impactful change for communities everywhere. Join us in celebrating their vision for a better tomorrow. Montrok are also the exclusive sponsors of the Roqe Media Icon Award. And it is a testament to their desire to play a role in community building that they've stepped up to be the sponsors, which leads us to the moment we've been looking forward to as well, the presentation of our third ever Roqe Media Icon Award. We could not be more excited and grateful to have this icon in our midst. Please take a look at the big screen. The third ever recipient of the Roqe Media Icon Award, presented by Montrok, is a true cinematic trailblazer, a powerhouse performer, a voice that is unmistakable, a presence that is unforgettable, and a storyteller who has shattered barriers, illuminated truths, and inspired generations. For decades, she has commanded the screen with a grace, intensity, and authenticity that is rare and undeniable. And when she is described as the first Iranian actress to be nominated for an Academy Award, it's not just a piece of trivia. It is history. She is Shohreh Aghdashloo.
Yours and your Sabbath friend!
Vamos!
Here he is, children. Your hero father. Your hero grandfather. Hiding behind his desk in his uniform.
Sajida, what do you want?
Tell them why.
No, تو رو خدا نکنی.
برو کنار زن. برو کنار مزاحم نشو.
آخه این بچه‌های صغیر داره. من جاش وای میستم. منو زنگزار کنین. ابراهیم منو زنگزار.
Born in Tehran, Shohreh's passion for acting was evident from an early age. But after the 1979 revolution, she made the difficult decision to leave Iran, seeking a future where she could pursue her craft freely. What followed was not just a career, but a journey of resilience, a relentless pursuit of excellence that would make her one of the most respected and celebrated actors of her time. From her breakthrough role in House of Sand and Fog, which earned her that historic Oscar nomination, to unforgettable performances in 24, The Expanse, and The Stoning of Soraya M., she has given voice to characters that reflect the struggles, strength, and complexity of Iranian identity, especially Iranian women. And after decades of success, she continues to push boundaries and break new ground. Most recently, she has joined two of the biggest franchises in entertainment history, starring as Dr. Kavita Rao in Marvel's X-Men and taking on a major role in The Penguin, the highly acclaimed series set in the Batman universe.
You have an amazing gift. Thank you, Jimmy.
Extraordinary, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Try to push me out. Whoa, hey! You ain't seen what I can do.
Beyond the screen, she has been a tireless advocate for human rights, for women's rights, and for the Iranian people. She has used her platform not just to entertain, but to educate, empower, and elevate.
We're here to tell the honorable members of the United Nations that we need action now before Iran turns red.
She is not just an actress, she's a symbol of courage, a pioneer, a beacon of Iranian excellence on the world stage. And tonight, we honor her. It is an absolute privilege to welcome her as our latest recipient of the Roqe Media Icon Award. This is for you, Shohreh Aghdashloo. I want to bring up Amir Firuz from our dear friends at Montrok. And this is Sohail Bastami, the wonderful sculptor who had created this. It is such an honor to be able to have this icon in our midst. Please welcome to the stage to receive the third ever Roqe Media Icon Award, dear Shohreh Aghdashloo.
تقاضا میکنم بفهمید. I am honored. I am humbled. And I am thrilled to be with you tonight. بهتون افتخار میکنم. به تک تکتون. عاشق تک تکتونم. با خانمای ایرانی افتخار میکنم که چطور بعد از مهاجرت حتی اگر قبلش دست به سیاه و سفید نزده بودن در کنار همسرانشون، برادرانشون، پدرانشون سخت کوشیدن تا زندگی تازه‌ای رو برپا کنن. به آقایان ایرانی افتخار میکنم که با هر مقام و هر مرتبه‌ای سرزمین مادری رو ترک کردن، به وقت مهاجرت در کنار همسرانشون سخت کوشیدن تا با هم زندگی تازه‌ای بسازن. به فرزندانمون افتخار میکنم که چطور در هر زمینه‌ای از هنر گرفته تا فضا ناسا افتخار آفرین بودند و هستند و خواهند بود. خوشحالم که در خدمتتون هستم. I love you all. I am so proud of you. I am proud of being Iranian because you make me feel proud of being Iranian. Thank you for your love and support. By the way, amazing trophy. I would cherish this for the rest of my life. It is amazing. I do have a question, Mr. Bastami. What inspired you to make this beautiful, amazing trophy? Could you kindly tell our audience?
Thank you. It's my honor and it's my pleasure that my sculpture is in your hand. Well, the inspiration is very hard to say. Actually, I always try to, the sculpture is speaking on itself. And here, when I'm thinking about something huge, and just the mountains and rocks comes to my mind. And I think you guys, that we all proud of you, are like a mountain for us. And that one is what inspired me. Thank you. Thank you all.
خوشحالم که در خدمتتون هستم. دوستتون دارم.
However you're the best. You know, we were taking a picture backstage and she
By the way, could you possibly tell me how come you can say Ghazal easily, but you cannot say Qarabaghi?
It's not that I can't say Qarabaghi. It's that I don't know if it's Qarabaghi or Qarabaghi. I don't know the vowels sometimes.
But you said Qarabaghi.
حالا اومدم award دادی ما منو مسخره میکنی ببین.
It's my turn now. It's my turn.
First of all, thank you. Listen, the journey of you getting here, we've been talking, you know, you were potentially going to be in Paris, shooting a film, a great series, and then you were going to be in New York, where you were last week, and it was a wonderful cause that you were walking in a fashion show, and then you were in LA. I mean, you're all over the world.
I was working in LA. I'm doing a new game. As you know, I do a lot of video games, but this one, they're calling it the mother of all games. That's why I had to go back to Los Angeles.
You were voicing it?
But that's right. Yes. It's you're familiar with my video games,
of course.
Destiny, Mass Effect, Arcane, The Expanse, and Assassin's Creed, the very last one. But this one is really the mother of all games. It's just amazing. Wait until you get to play with it. It's amazing.
Where I was going with it is that we're so grateful that you made that you were able to come to Toronto, and now this, but you also, this is not in a sense, a foreign city to you. You've spent a lot of time here.
I used to live here 6 years.
Yeah, you've lived in a few different places, and you still have a place here, right?
I do, yes.
What do you think of when you think of Toronto and Canada?
I love Canada in general. I love the way the politics works here. I love the fact that, I remember a friend of mine was telling me, how come you're working in Canada? You know how high their taxes are. Yes, I do know of the high taxes here in Canada, but I'm willing even to pay more when I go out and see young people being happy, sitting on the sides of on coffee tables, having beer, having a cup of coffee, laughing, smiling, having a good time. They can watch a play for $5. They can watch a movie for $5. Health care, free health care here. I mean,
maybe when you were here.
But when I was here, it was the way. When I was here, it was the same.
This is, I want to visit that place that you were.
That wasn't so far away. 2016.
Yeah, no, it's not. But Toronto's a very expensive city, actually.
It is expensive, but young people still have the privilege of being supported by their government. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's true. So, but to research you is to hear you say in different interviews in different places in different times that you see yourself as a global citizen, which is it's beautiful, but it also suggests to me that it inspires me to ask what the concept of home is for you then, where home is. As someone who we just talked about lived here for 6 years, who's identified with LA, who left Iran, how do you cope with the idea of home?
When I left Iran 47 years ago during the turmoil, I called myself a Jahan Watan, being global, beyond borders, beyond barriers. I truly believe in united races and not united nations. Therefore, no matter where I am, I feel at home.
And that's the truth.
That's the truth. I was just telling a young man today that he was asking me if...
Where did you meet this young man?
Well, it's one of your colleagues,
oh,
Billy,
I see.
And he's not young.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Are you trying to tell me that he's not young?
I don't know what we're talking about.
But no matter what, I would refer to him as a young man.
Yeah.
I was telling him that when I left Iran, rather than thinking, I started it all started really difficult for someone like myself who was already a successful actress on her way. But when I left Iran, and when for the first time, I arrived in the UK, London. I decided to go to London because I was familiar with kind of life in London. My mother used to take me there. And I decided to go to London and start studying. And decided to study political science, international relations, which I did. But then on the very first day, when I had to take trains and then buses to get to the university, I told myself, at the beginning I was a bit upset, obviously, feeling sorry for myself, like, look what has happened to you, now you need to commute with buses and trains and stuff. But then I told myself, look, the beauty of living twice. This is, as a matter of fact, it's an amazing book by Sharon Stone, which is great. Look at the beauty of living twice. This is a new life. Everything is going to be different. Therefore, I shouldn't kind of feel like sorry for myself. I should be happy for myself that I have been given the chance to live again twice.
But you were at the height of your success in Iranian cinema. You were 25. You're effectively forced to leave. Did you feel like your career was over?
No, I did not feel like my career was over. But the reason I studied political science, and I did not want to act anymore, which I told all my friends, God rest his soul, Mr. Cardon, and Mr. Asadadahi, when they came for me a couple of years after the revolution, asking me to participate in their plays, I told them right there and then that I do not want to act anymore. I want to become a politician. Because first off, I want to understand what is happening in Iran, what is happening to us. All of a sudden, the heads of some states have decided to interfere with our internal affair, and now, as a result, thousands of us are displaced.
Yeah.
I want to study politics, and I want to be a politician. But when Mr. Cardon, amazing Iranian, of course, writer, director, came to me with a play called Haftarang, The Rainbow Colors. I read the play and I fell in love with it. It was about a calligrapher who used to work for the Shah of Iran. And after the revolution, he was busted. He was taken to the court, and they were about to execute him because of the fact that he was Shah's personal calligrapher. But somehow he flees Iran, he comes to the UK, he comes to my place. I portrayed a rich woman who lived by the River Thames. He comes to my place, and he asked me if I would allow him to jump out of my balcony right in front of the River Thames. And I asked him as to why he wants to do that. And he says, well, look, media is not paying any attention to us. Maybe by committing suicide this way,
wow,
finally media, which he meant the Western media, would pay some attention to us. And I proved to him that by being alive, he would be more useful to its people and telling his story than dying and committing suicide.
Don't you also feel like, in your case, going on to continue and have such a remarkably successful career so far in acting also puts you in a place where you probably have more of a platform to talk about the change that's needed in the world than if you had gone into journalism or something, right?
That's exactly what happened. I had already secured a fine job at one of my favorite newspapers of all times, The Guardian. But obviously I was going to start from the basement, just putting the papers together. But I knew one day I would go up and I would start writing, and I would write about my country and what happened to my motherland. But when the play came around, I thought a lot about it, and I thought, wait a second, maybe this way I could be even more helpful to my people, rather than turning myself into a politician. Politicians are always not that kind of popular as artists are.
Yeah.
And then I changed my path.
You have a very powerful presence. I mean, have you always had that?
I think actors do have that.
You have an extraordinary one, though. I feel like you really have a sense of self. How did you build that?
I think because I was born in a very educated, highly educated and understanding household. My father was one of the most noble men I had ever seen in my life. He never, ever laid a hand on us. He never cursed or cursed at us. He was a true gentleman. Something private. He never wore pajamas. Always one of his pants that was, from the suits that were supposedly old, and he didn't want to use them, so he would use the pants of the suits as a pajama at home. We never saw our father in a pajama.
Wow, how proper. Yes.
Actually, I loved watching my grandfather in pajamas. And I asked my father, I said, I'm not comfortable with pajamas. But anyhow, he was an amazing
What did he do, your father?
He started with accounting. He was an accountant at the health ministry. And throughout years, decades, working very hard, he finally managed to become the deputy at the health ministry. Yeah.
So that story reminds me of my late father. The idea of dressing in a, properly, it was important to him as well, and it's a beautiful actually quality to, as you say, a gentleman. Shohreh, listening to you and knowing what you've done for the Iranian community, you fall into that category of someone, like I think about my mom, like people who you've actually spent more time, a lot more time, outside of Iran in your life than you have inside Iran. And yet you so profoundly have this connection, this dedication, this notion of Iranianness. Can you explore that?
From the day one, I felt that no matter what, I am from a land called Persia. I am an Iranian, and I am proud of being who I am as an Iranian, as a Middle Easterner. that was the general idea ever since I was 16 or 17 years of age, a teenager, that I was so proud. And I remember in London, I got into a, not really a big fight, but a small one with a guy from Britain. He was telling me that foreigners should go back to their homes. And I told him that if your government had not interfered with my internal affair, my country's internal affair, I would have not been here. Yeah. So by all means, I will go back after you withdraw from Iran and leave us alone for God's sake after 100 years.
On that note, we were talking earlier in the show about whether this year we feel like we might be at this inflection point, all the things that are going on in the world. I know how dearly, how much time and energy you put into activism. Do you feel like this year could be a special year in terms of change coming? I mean, it feels like this canard that we say all the time, you know, let's meet in Tehran. Yeah. But at the same time, it's such an unstable world that you think, well, maybe this is the time.
Well, it is pretty obvious, isn't it? It all started as of 2009. Before that, Iranians abroad were obviously thinking about their families, their friends, the ones that they left behind. They were worried, but not as much as we are today. It all started with the Arab Spring in the Middle East in general, and then immediately after 2009. And as of then, it's been happening every kind of year or every other year, and now we see that these incidents, these uprisings, these demonstrations are coming closer and closer and closer together. So therefore, there is no way but seeing Iran free. How long does it take? Depends on both sides. You were talking about President Trump, and in your opinion, you believe that he's going to make a deal with Iran, right?
No, I said that, no, I honestly don't know what he's going to do. I said that he had said 2 days ago that he wants to make a deal, you know, and which was news to those of us who had hoped that, or it might be news to people who had hoped that.
But you know this deal is conditional.
Yes.
What is he asking for?
Well, again, it's hard to parse exactly what he's saying, but he was talking about no nuclear weapons. But that's a different, that's back to JCPOA, right? Isn't it?
No nuclear weapon is not a question here, really. And it's not the essential part of this deal. The essential part of this deal is that, and I'm saying the Islamic Republic because it's not Iran, the Islamic Republic should stop supporting its proxies around the globe. Funny enough, Islamic Republic cemented its pillars into the soil of Iran with 4 things: hijab, death to America, death to Israel, and their proxies. Without their proxies, they will be gone overnight. It's their proxies that have kept them there. So, in other words, what Trump is suggesting is a kind of pointing out the Achilles heel, Pashnaya Asil. Islamic Republic would never be able to let go of its proxy. It's the proxy that has made the Islamic Republic become...
So you don't think that there's a real deal then? It's not,
But I like, to be honest with you, I like the approach.
You do?
It was pretty methodical because it was political. He could have said, we all know him. We know how he would behave sometimes. He could have easily said, yes, I killed Qasem, and I'm going to kill all of you, and you're going to have to go, and Iran is going to become the 52nd state of the United States.
I didn't have Shohreh Aghdashloo doing a Trump impression on my bingo card. It's fantastic.
So it's, I truly admire his method and his policy, and it's pretty, the approach is pretty political and politically correct.
All right.
Let's see if the Islamic Republic could let go of its praxis that is really keeping them in power.
A final question to you. You're here in part because we wanted to give this award to you, this Icon Award. And honestly, it's not, I mean, there's no one who doesn't think you deserve this. There's, you know, everyone, as soon as they hear your name associated with this kind of a legacy award, is just like, yes, of course, we are so proud of her. She means so much to us. It's amazing how you have united our community in that sense. How important is that kind of legacy to you? Whether it's the Emmys or the Oscar nomination or even something like this, how much do you think about legacy like that?
Depends on whether you like to leave a legacy or not. Depends on how your people are important to you. Ever since I left Iran, I promised myself 3 things. I would not ask for money from my parents. I would not lie. And I would do my best to represent my people. And I think for the last 47 years that I've lived abroad, I haven't done anything to make them feel ashamed of my acting or doing or whatever. I've always had them in mind, always. And funniest story, at the Emmys, when I won the Emmy, when my name was called, the poor guy did a great job. He said my name really right. He said, Shohreh Aghdashloo. I was still wondering, is it me? I looked at my daughter, like, she's looking at me. She says, what are you waiting for? It's you. I look at my husband, it's you. So I started walking, but then all of a sudden I realized, oh, my shoulders are rolled in, and I'm thinking, and all of a sudden I told myself, woman, pull yourself together. You are representing Iranian women here. All of a sudden, I held my head high.
Wow. Shohreh Aghdashloo, everybody.
I love you.
All right. Wow. I couldn't have asked for more in terms of the inspiring words of Shohreh Aghdashloo. This is Rook, episode 359, live from the City Playhouse in Thornhill, Ontario. Okay, our final act. Don't go anywhere. They are one of the most dynamic musical groups in the Iranian landscape, creating a fusion of folk, electronic rock, and pop sounds, often with a classical Persian touch as well. They feature 2 brothers at their core, our very own Shaya Shoja and his older brother Taha. Tonight, They are announcing a brand new album, and we are thrilled to have them here. Please welcome to the stage, Dang Show.
Thank you, Jian. After being away for like about 2 years from stages, that's so difficult to perform in front of my lifetime crush, Shohreh Aghdashloo. ساقی میخواران زده حلقه به گوشم، پس چرا باده پس از باده ننوشم؟ هر قدر می بزنم عاقلم انگار، زان که دیوانه و زنجیر به هوشم. نازنین چشمانت سوی چراغ است، رنگی لبهایت میوه باغ است. از بهار و برگ و سایه نارنج هر کجا بویی بود از تو سراغ است. بکنان رخت ریا من که نپوشم، جان برهنه به آتش عشق بجوشم. چون که می چکد از گوشه نعلش، من چرا از دهن یار ننوشم. نازنین چشمانت سوی چراغ است، رنگی لبهایت میوه باغ است. از بهار و برگ و سایه نارنج هر کجا بویی بود از تو سراغ است. I told you it was very difficult, breathtaking for me, like all of you and plus Shohreh Aghdashloo.
آخر قصه اما قصه آخرم این نیست، آخر راهی که باید من ازش بگذرم این نیست.
آرزوهام برای خاطراتم دوره کردم، کجای خاطره باید پی آرزوم بگردم.
خستم از هرچی رسیدن، اگه پشتش سفری نیست، برکه امنو نمیخوام وقتی موج خطری نیست.
خستم از هرچی رسیدم، اگه پشتش سفری نیست، برکه امنو نمیخوام وقتی موج خطری نیست. میرسم نواسه موندم، من مسافرم همیشه، مثل نوری که میاد رد میشه از دل شیشه.
میرسم نواسه موندن، من مسافرم همیشه، مثل نوری که میاد و رد میشه از دل شیشه.
آخر قصه اما قصه آخرم این نیست، آخر راهی که باید من ازش بگذرم این نیست.
خستم از هرچی رسیدن، اگه پشتش سفری نیست، برکه امنو نمیخوام وقتی موج خطری نیست.
خستم از هرچی رسیدم، اگه پشتش سفری نیست، برکه امنو نمیخوام وقتی موج خطری.
Thanks, yo. Come on, boys, come on. Come sit, quick. We're way over time. Come on, Taha Jun. Come on, Shaya. Very exciting.
حالا چطوره؟
Merci.
After 2 years on Rook.
Yes.
Hi,
Welcome
yes.
back.
Merci.
Tell me about this. This is, first of all, this is beautiful. Second of all, quick, tell us quickly about this new album.
Okay, the new album is called بهتر از درک و سکون, and I mean, I uploaded. It's on the way to go on the platforms and
right now.
Right now, yeah.
This is the moment this album is coming out.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the first song that we performed actually is one of our brand new albums. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mubarak.
Thank you.
And
Merci.
by the way, you also have you have a Toronto show
Here?
Yes, in this venue.
When is it going to be?
It's May 18th.
The full show.
Oh yeah.
In this theater, May 18th. Be there, Dang Show.
Yes.
The sound for Dang Show fans. It feels more.
This album?
Yes. Classic,
no,
organic. I don't know. I don't hear any drum beats.
It's kind of. It's the first album after we immigrated to Canada, so it's kind of it's impacted by the events that we experienced in these, let's say, 5 years. But we are always seeking something new, seeking something to experience something different. So
something new is seeking us.
Oh.
Finally,
Taha, you're still speaking like Yoda. I love you. How are you, Taha?
I'm doing my best.
Okay, well, that's all that we can.
I have a question for you, Jian.
Yes.
Are they sampling from you for ChatGPT? some versions of ChatGPT.
How dare you? They sound like my voice, you mean?
Yeah, some versions of ChatGPT from the first days of ChatGPT. I was listening, and are they sampling Jian for male voice? Is it some?
They may be. Are there any rules anymore? Who knows?
Jian jeans inside ChatGPT.
But thank you for using your time for promoting the Dang Show album to ask me about that. Taha, you never change. And by the way, is your lifelong crush Shohreh Aghdashloo?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Now I'm terrified. She's.
Shohreh Aghdashloo is my on and off lifetime crush.
Oh. I'm not sure that's.
Shohreh Aghdashloo, 2 years, then 2 years another actress, and then 2 years Shohreh Aghdashloo, and then 2 years.
Okay. What seemed like a beautiful compliment has become very complicated. You every biannually you
Have you seen Gozaresh by Abbas Kiarostami?
I feel like I probably have.
Have you ever seen Gozaresh by Abbas Kiarostami? That's the beginning of story for many of those good taste Persian males to crush on Shohreh Aghdashloo.
I'm not sure if we, Shohreh, do you still want to meet them backstage, or should we keep security? She loves Dang Show.
Oh, no, you need a microphone.
Truly, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love Bang Show. I was hoping that you would have seen it. I made a post about 2 years ago about the Bang Show.
Wow.
You guys are amazing, and I loved when you said new things are seeking us rather than us seeking new stuff. And you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
Which 2-year window are we in? Is this the 2-year? Wow.
Hijahamimi. Inja. Harj. Bang Show.
چه خبر زیان؟
I mean, Rook has fostered all kinds of new connections. That are unexpected. That's but Shohreh's fandom is well deserved. I am also a Dang Show fan, and I am so glad that you guys were here, and I'm so happy about the new record. And we're going to do some kind of. You guys are going to do a monster jam to send us out.
That was your idea, yeah.
Wow. Thank you. So, Taha, thank you, man. Thanks for making it. Thanks for doing this.
I love your voice, Jian.
Thank you. You can find it on ChatGPT. At your local ChatGPT.
I love ChatGPT because of you.
Thank you. You know, between me and Shohreh, you're going to have to decide. Because I don't think you can have us both tonight. You pick, and then we'll, see where the chips fall. All right. sending us out. You guys go get ready for this song. Dang show, everybody.
Thank
Shaya,
you.
Taha, you guys get ready for the song. They're going to be joined by Siamak Mehr, Ghazal Akhounzadeh, Blanch Echo. You guys go get ready. Are you going to play? Yeah. I'm going to actually, while you do that, I'm going to say this is full time for Rook for today. Thank you to the amazing team who put this show together. Thank you to I just want to mention our team, Super Parisa, Smart Pegah, Savvy Roham, talented Anahita, methodical Kaveh, who put so much into this, solid Samin, Tina, the video, the photo and video queen. Thank you to Amir Hossein. Thank you to Sherigam.
It was hard actually.
Sherigam?
Yeah.
How do you say it? Sheragim, who I've known for a while, but it's...
Can I just...
Yes.
This album actually, it was produced and sound engineered by our one of our amazing guys, Ashkan Naraghi, who's here tonight, and I wanted to thank you, Ashkan, for all effort that you put in this album.
And I need to plus the fact that this album is introducing the Dang Show new introduction of a new genius artist, Shahryar Siavash. This album, Shahryar, bia. This is Dang Show's new discovery. You will hear universe more of him soon. Just can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, taking us out at Rook Live 4. Please welcome back to the stage, featuring Siamak Mehr, Ghazal Akhounzadeh, Blanch Echo DJ, Dang Show.
وقتی دل دارم میخنده تو دلم هزار تا پرنده میخونن با ساز تنبک کاش یارم همیشه بخنده دل دارم همیشه بخنده هر سویی که بنگرم دلبر هر جایی که میروم دلبر ای داد از بیداد داد دلبرم ای داد از بیداد داد دلبر فریاد از بیداد داد دل بودو 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 بودو
again, Dank Show, everybody. Blanch, Echo, Siavash, Ghazal. Sorry, what did I say? Yeah, okay. Ghazal Akhounzadeh. It's been 3 hours, okay? Siamak Mehr, Shaya, Taha, Dank Show, thanks guys. This is the end of We Stop Recording now, so thank you so much for being here for Rook Live. It's been such a thrill to have you here. I would be remiss. I want to send you out there because we've got a lot of food and drink out there, and we're going to come take photos and stuff. I'd be remiss if I don't say this, though. It's really important. This kind of show with an independent media, it only happens on the basis of a bunch of people doing this because they believe in it. And so there's a lot of people who volunteered. We have actually almost 20 volunteers on this show, and let's just give it up for the volunteers. Some of them didn't even get seats. Some of them were outside the whole time. Thank you to the volunteers. And bring the Rook team, and let me just bring the Rook team out here. Come on out, guys. Come on. Yeah. Navi Doha, you're part of the Rook team. Who are we missing? There they come. Sammy and Roham. Kaveh. Thank you to the Rook team. Thank you guys. Merci. See you at Rook Live 5. Come out and have a drink with us. Merci.